Welcome in here, Kurt Magoosh Sports, and today we're going to be talking about Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, he ends up transferring out of Oklahoma, and it's kind of interesting because he had a great last game with the Sooners, really had a terrific year. I know that Bob Stoops was trying to get Caleb to stay, and it was surely an unbelievable season from Caleb Williams as a freshman. I know Oklahoma fans are going to be disappointed that him and his father, want to bounce and want to look for other opportunities. It's tough. This landscape is tough. A lot of kids are bouncing after 1 year. It is better for the player. It's tougher, certainly, for the coaching staff. It's tougher on fans, unless, of course, you get transfers. So, it's an interesting development in college football. It would have been a feel-good story maybe for Caleb to stay at Oklahoma, and he could still do so with Jeff Lebby. His father said that he wanted some development in terms of the NFL, and Jeff Lebby, he ran at UCF kind of that air raid attack, or he ran, what Art Briles ran at Baylor. And then Lane Kiffin, he teamed up with Lane Kiffin and Matt Corral. So for Oklahoma and Caleb Williams, Matt Corral is probably going to be the first quarterback off the board. So you do have a great quarterback developer in Caleb Williams. You do have Bob Stoops and Brent Venables that are two of the best defensive minds ever in college football that have coached so many NFL players on both sides of the ball. So surely Oklahoma has a lot to offer, but for Caleb Williams right now, he has opportunities. At 5'11", he is the Patrick Mahomes of college football. It doesn't mean that he'll be Mahomes in the NFL, but he's really, really good in college football. He's 5'11", he has a huge arm, he is mobile. At times he will get into trouble, he'll backpedal a lot, try to make too big of a play, but you look at Caleb Williams, and I think that he definitely has talent, and he could definitely be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. So Oklahoma is definitely losing somebody that's very key to their program. They also had Spencer Rattler. Tanner Mordecai went to SMU. So I don't know who's coming through the pipeline. Nick Evers is a freshman who's coming in, who's a 4-star. He kind of plays a little like Jalen Hurts. His arm strength's okay, but he can run, he can throw it a little bit. I think in time he will be a solid quarterback, but he definitely doesn't have the upside of one of the best arms in college football, Caleb Williams. So then that begs the question, where is Williams going to go? Well, a lot of people are saying it's going to come down to NIL deals. If Barstool Sports or an NIL company is going to pay you $3 million for your services in college as a 19-year-old, you and your dad are going to think about doing that deal. Caleb Williams, let's talk about where Caleb could end up going. The first team that comes to mind is USC. Lincoln Riley, the coach who coached him last year. Now, I know that Malachi Nelson is coming in next year, and it could be the old, time is a flat circle with Malachi Nelson, replacing Caleb Williams, because Malachi Nelson is one of the best high school prospects that has ever been through high school. 6'3", going to be the number one pick probably. Arch Manning, everybody talks about Cooper's son, but Malachi Nelson is he absolutely is a flawless prospect. He can run, he can throw it. He has more height than Caleb, can run just as fast. So it's going to be really tough to beat out Malachi Nelson. Now, for Caleb Williams, he wants to be in college 2 more years and then get drafted in the 23 draft, in 2024. So that means that Malachi would come in a little bit. It's still going to be tough, because you still got Malachi Nelson coming in next year. And again, I think that he offers a huge threat at the position just because he's 6'3", he can throw it 65 yards, he throws with touch. So that's definitely going to be something that Caleb has to consider. You also look at Ole Miss as definite possibility. Altmaier looked a little wet behind the ears. I know they're the same age, but Caleb Williams, has more arm strength than Luke Altmaier. And Altmaier's a pretty good quarterback, and he does fit Lane Kiffin's offense with Charlie Weiss Jr., but still, Ole Miss is a premier program. So that remains to be seen what's going to end up happening. You look at Notre Dame. Tommy Rees, I don't know about the NIL component of it, But Notre Dame is certainly a team that, could use a really good quarterback. I mean, they do have Tyler Buckner coming in, but Marcus Freeman is a great, great recruiter. You look at Georgia, I don't think he's going to end up going there because of the way that happened with Justin Fields and JT Daniels. You look at Florida I think Florida can offer you a lot of NIL cash. So Florida is certainly a possibility. You have Emory Jones and Anthony Richardson and a new coaching staff. You could try to win that job. The Auburn Tigers, if you want to go with Austin Davis and Brian Harsin, I think that's a wide open quarterback field. He is significantly better than TJ Finley. That could be the place for him is Auburn or Ole Miss. I mean, it's going to be tough to beat Lane out, but Auburn should be right there in the thick of it for Caleb Williams. He's also an East Coast guy, so that gets you thinking about the East Coast schools. Ohio State's not going to be there. Michigan seems to be with McCarthy. Michigan State, I mean, they're pretty happy with Peyton Thorne, and I don't think he's going to go up to Michigan State, Penn State. So really the schools that I think are in the mix for Caleb Williams, I'm going to put LSU also on this list. I'm going to go with LSU. I'm going to go Ole Miss and USC. And I'm also going to go Auburn as a distant fourth. And if I had to guess what school he's going to go to, I actually believe that he's going to end up going with Lane Kiffin and the Lane train. I think Lane will get along with his dad really well, and I think it'll be a big-time get. I either think Ole Miss is getting Cam Ward or Caleb Williams. So whatever happens with Cameron Ward out of little Incarnate Wood University, that is going to be the domino that's going to get everybody excited. So something to monitor. Always fun in the transfer portal.